Hey there, Empowered Tribe. It's Angela T. Moore. You are getting ready to experience the 9th episode of Empowered, a health and wellness podcast where I share my personal journey of health and healing, tips for mental and physical health, interviews with health and wellness experts and those bold enough and vulnerable enough to share their own journeys to empower you to succeed in yours. We know that life can be rewarding. It can also be challenging. It has its ups and downs, highs and lows. I learned that with a strong mind and a fit body, you are better able to grow through and grow from whatever life throws your way. My goal is to share journeys of health and wellness, as well as tips and information from extraordinary people all around the world to help you live an empowered life. My guest, Dr. Corey, is a traditional naturopathic doctor at Thrive on Life in Brighton, Michigan. She specializes in nutrition, iridology, herbology, essential oils, homeopathy, and energy work. Corey started her professional journey at Clayton College in holistic nutrition, then went on to study naturopathic medicine at the Naturopathic Institute of Therapies and Education, earning the title of Certified Naturopath. Corey is nationally board certified as a naturopathic doctor, an instructor at the Naturopathic Institute, and on the board for the Embassy of Life Mastery. She is also the in-house naturopathic expert for Better Health stores across Michigan. In this episode, Dr. Corey shared her personal journey to become well after becoming critically ill following a trip to Africa. According to blood work, MRIs, ultrasounds, and other tests, she was perfectly fine. Yet her teeth were loose, she had paralysis on the left side of her body, nerve pain, involuntary muscle spasms, insomnia, and debilitating migraines. She finally switched gears and turned to natural methods of treatment and fully recovered. Corey was grateful for having had this experience because she found her life's mission to help others overcome situations such as hers with natural modes of therapy and to demonstrate her faith that a higher power has given us everything we could ever need for complete healing within ourselves and growing outside our own back door. Dr. Corey also shares simple natural ways to prevent and treat illness during the winter months and beyond, as well as she shares her tips for better health. I hope you enjoy the episode. Well, Dr. Corey, you are a traditional naturopathic doctor at Thrive on Life in Brighton, Michigan. What is a naturopathic doctor and how do you work with patients?
Yeah. So a true definition of doctor is teacher. And a naturopathic doctor works with natural medicine, but we're truly a teacher. We're not like allopathic medicine where we're, performing surgeries or doing anything invasive in the body. We're really educating clients to take power of their own health journey. And I utilize all natural substances, so plants, homeopathy, essential oils, energy work, and really doing that brings the body back into balance. So a lot of the drugs that we use, right, the pharmaceutical drugs, they're actually, a lot of the compounds are isolated from plants. And so these plants have all the necessary chemical constituents to really bring the body back into balance. So I'll work with the individual, identify what the issues are, and then make a proper protocol for them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, would you say that a lot of people that come to you have tried traditional medicine and maybe not had the outcome that they were actually seeking, and so they then turn to you for an alternative?
Yeah, I see the whole gamut. I see people that have just been into that their whole life because that's how they were raised, right, on a farm, and they just believe in the herbs. They believe in natural medicine. But I see a lot of people disillusioned, especially in the last couple of years, and just not seeing the results they want from traditional medicine, and they are looking for that alternative, or they're looking to combine a treatment plan that they're doing with allopathic Western medicine, and they come to me to kind of make a synergistic protocol. So yeah, I'm seeing the whole gamut, and I see children all the way up to adults, and families come to see me.
Oh, wow.
I love what I do.
Yeah. Now, do you find that children are more receptive to what you're saying than adults?
Oh yes, because if you come and see me, it's not a like typical 5-minute appointment. It is you're there for an hour, sometimes an hour and a half, and we're playing. We're doing all sorts of energetic testing, and kids just love it, and they're great at it. They absolutely just jump right in. So I love seeing children.
Yeah, I could see that. I find that children even those kids that see me as a therapist or as a trainer, they're very open to try new things.
Yeah.
It's usually the parents that I have to convince.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, on Empowered, I love to share journeys of health and healing in hopes that those stories will help other people share their journeys, as well as being inspired and empowered by hearing what my guests have to share. And I understand that you actually became critically ill after a trip to Africa, which led you to what now is your life's mission. Can you talk about that time?
Yeah. So early on, I was a singer. That was my first love and passion. And I actually teach sound healing now. Okay. I teach that for the fourth year naturopathic doctors who are almost ready to take their final step and get board certified.
Okay.
But I was a singer, and during college years, I did a lot of plays. And one summer we were in Forestburg, New York, and it was a barn that we performed in, and we lived in the barn. So I'm sure I had things going into the trip to Africa. I'm sure I got bit by a tick that summer. I remember seeing ticks around, etc. But I went to Africa. I was baptized in a river. I'm sure I picked up some little critters in the river there, right? And I came back, and there was signals of things going on in my body, but nothing full alarm until I got in a stressful state later in my life. And my thinking started degrading. I started getting negative about life, negative about, just the things that were facing me. And I heard warning signs from God, like, you got to check your emotions. You got to check your emotions. And I didn't. And one day I woke up and I was not okay. I think everything that was there, right? Because the immune system's strong. When we're in a state of joy and happiness and we're feeding ourselves good and we're sleeping well, the immune system can deal with most things, right? But my emotions got out of hand. And I woke up one day and neurological symptoms set in. It was a nightmare. I had headaches. I felt like paralysis on the left side of my body. My teeth were loose. I was losing gum tissue.
Wow.
It was a 5-alarm state. But I truly believe it was God's design. And like we were talking about a little earlier about staying in your lane, I was veering off my lane. And it was God kind of pushing me back to, you got to check yourself. You got to find the journey on your own. Because I would go to get blood work done just to see what's going on. My blood work would come back normal. It would say, you're fine. So I knew there was something deeper. And this is what really led me on the journey. I was already a holistic nutritionist at this time, so I knew a lot.
Okay.
But I decided to go back to become a naturopath. And through, my learning and other people that I encountered, other doctors along the way, I was able to heal my body fully. And that's what I do now, is try to help people that are in just confusion. They don't know what's going on, because God has given us an answer for everything.
Now, how long were you in that state of being unwell, would you say?
So critically, where I was even thinking, am I going to make it? I would say probably about 2 years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. It was really intense. Then after that, I definitely was better, but I was having neurological symptoms still. My, hands would shake, and I remember sometimes having to hold my hand down, right? And the nervous system can repair itself, but it takes a long time, right, to lay down your new neurons. So I would say it was 5-6 years before I was really I'm back.
Wow.
Good.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting to hear that, because I think that there are people who are perpetually unwell.
Yes.
And they don't know it.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of in a state of not feeling well, not feeling whole, not feeling happy, feeling like something's wrong, and not really knowing, where to turn to or who to turn to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be really scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt like that at times too, but I prayed and God put things in my path. And I just knew when something felt right. And when it was working, I just continued down that. If it wasn't working, I pushed it away. But it was a combination of things. It was definitely changing my thinking. It was claiming health. And every day I used to say, I know you don't feel great today, but you are walking into health, Corey, and I did.
Yeah. I think it's so important to think about what you say.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Our words are so vital.
Very much so. And I would say too, also to really be mindful of what you're listening to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's really important, Angela.
Now, interestingly, and I think this was the way I actually met you, because you have been working with Better Health Stores.
Yeah.
And I learned in my research for over 10 years, I did not realize that you had been working with them for so long. It's so interesting because I've been in Michigan since 1992. And there have been many years where I've gone to traditional grocery stores and then different stores to, get specific items. I wasn't introduced to Better Health stores until I think it's probably been about maybe 7 years or something like that. It's always a great time when I go visit the store because I love being able to access a lot of really good healthy products. And I feel that when I go to certain stores like Better Health stores, I want to go into a store where I feel like I don't have to question the items that are on the shelves. And I think that that's really important because it can be very overwhelming when you have so many products and items to choose from. But specifically, you are working with Better Health stores on a very interesting product. But before we get into that, I want you to talk about what is your relationship with Better Health stores because it's been a long-term relationship.
It really has. Yeah, I was a personal trainer in my 20s. I used to go into the Novi. It was their flagship store, the Novi Better Health store. And the owner of the Better Health store I became friends with, right? Okay. He said, I'm going to hire you someday. And it didn't really happen that way specifically. But my health journey, I became a naturopathic doctor. And because we are truly teachers, right? Doctor is teacher. Part of becoming that naturopathic doctor is teaching and doing free education. So in about 2011, 2012, I thought, what a platform, at Better Health Store. I already knew them, right? So I started teaching classes and I started teaching monthly there. Okay. And it was just amazing, right? I'd have during the keto revolution, right? I had probably 8 people there, in the back of the store where they serve juices and sandwiches and stuff. And they would just gather around and we'd teach for an hour and a half. And it's just a conversation back and forth. And I've taught from how to use essential oils, how to be your own doctor, recognizing symptomology in the body and what it could be pointing to in the herbs or the supplements that could benefit, right? Those situations. And that's how it developed. And then they approached me about 3 years ago about becoming their naturopathic health expert.
Gotcha.
And doing all their TV and media and PR and just really being a voice of education for them. Yeah. And that's where my heart is. I love seeing people individually. I really do. I love when people come to me individually, but you can really start to change the mindset and teach when you're teaching on a mass scale. And so that is truly my passion. So I've just loved every minute of it.
Yeah, I can definitely say I recognize that. Yeah. I've always loved when I see somebody doing something they're very passionate about. I think it speaks to their happiness, and I think that happiness that they feel and that passion that they feel about what they're doing, I think it carries through in their connections with other people. Yeah. And if you're able to reach multiple people, I think it's kind of, what's the word I'm trying to say? It's it has a very significant impact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a rippling effect.
Most
and
definitely.
You can feel that. You can feel that energetically, right? And it just really brings me joy. It really does.
Yeah.
And we're really trying with Better Health to educate people because it goes back to what you say. You walk into the store and they have top products there, but they have so many.
Right.
And it can be really overwhelming. And so it's really about educating, okay, you're an individual. Just because you have this quote unquote disease state, another person might have the same disease state, but your protocol is going to be completely different than this person because we're so bio-individual in our, human makeup, our blood work, everything. So it's really about empowering people and educating.
Yeah, yeah. And I think you said something that's really important. I don't think people think about the fact that they are individuals. And when you go and you use something so you may ask a friend or even your doctor to prescribe something for you, or you may decide to try something that a friend has tried successfully and it may not work for you. And you may get frustrated in that, not knowing that it doesn't necessarily mean that what was prescribed or recommended to you is not effective. It just may not be effective for you.
Yes, our chemistry is all different. The way we metabolize substances, etc. So yeah, it could work for one person, but it's not what's necessary for that individual.
Yeah, very much so. Now, ironically, we are in the winter months, and we all experience the winter months. But you and I actually talked about this before we start the show today, that there is a tendency to get sick, and definitely. We didn't talk about this after the new year. People are really excited about being healthier.
Oh, yeah.
They make New Year's resolutions. They set these big, lofty goals because they want to be healthier. But they're going to be facing some challenges as they deal with the inclement weather, as they go out and interact with other people that they haven't had the opportunity to interact with. We talked about that during the pandemic. We were kind of sheltered, and we weren't really exposed to a lot of different people, and now we're out and about, and people are around a lot of different people and around a lot of different germs, I imagine. So what are some things that people can do to improve their health during the winter season and even beyond?
Yeah, I mean, some things that they can just do to not supplements or anything like that. I really recommend detox baths. That's super important, right? We're stimulating kind of a hyperthermia state, just like a fever. A fever is actually there for a good thing. It's there to heat up the body, to overcome, microbes or, viruses, bacteria. And when we take these warm or as hot as you can stand, really, detox baths, it does that same thing in the body. And then you're going to add things to the bath too. I like adding good sea salt. About 2 cups of Redmond's real salt is what I love, because that helps to mineralize the body. It helps put minerals into the water. That helps charge the water. It can pull toxins. I like putting about a cup of baking soda in there too. Alkalizing the water, it helps pull out toxins as well. So I think detox baths are amazing, right? It's going to really prime the body and the immune system and help detox. That's one thing. I think if you have an infrared sauna or access to a sauna, that is another thing. It's creating that same kind of hyperthermia, overheating, and you feel the sweat coming out and toxins start dripping from the body. And it stimulates also natural killer cells, T cells, B cells, which really help fight infection, right? So people might not have saunas, but they have a bath, I'm sure.
Most definitely, yeah, I think you do. I think most people do.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they probably have one bath in their house. Yeah. Even foot soaks. You could even get a warm, like a hot basin of water, right? And put some of those things I was talking about in that and soak your feet.
Yeah.
It really is beneficial.
Yeah. Any other recommendations?
Yeah, I think that not being fearful and being around people, right? And knowing that we have this amazing God-given immune system. When we were not with people for 2 years, that wasn't necessarily a good thing. It really kind of made our immune system weak again. So not, being around people, laughing, obviously things like vitamin D, right? We know that we're in Michigan and it is cold here and we don't get as much sun, and vitamin D is hugely important for our immune system. And most people's levels, if they get their blood tested, is too low. So I like D3, K2, vitamin K2 as a combo. It's just very much more synergistically, the power of the two helps with bone density, helps with immunity. So those are just simple ones. If we're going to get into supplements later, we'll go deeper.
Okay, gotcha. Well, that actually ties into what I was going to ask you about now, because I understand that you and Better Health will be featuring Dr. Corey's picks.
That's right.
Each month. What are Dr. Corey's picks?
Yeah, so Dr. Corey's picks, I started thinking about it about a year ago. It's just, again, more education and making people feel more comfortable walking into the store, because it can be overwhelming, right, with all the supplements. And I really wanted to pick about 7 to 10 supplements per season that really showcase like what we need nutritionally for that season, maybe what health concerns are coming about that during that season that need to be supported. We're right in the winter, so we just flipped over from fall. We have about 9 supplements, and each supplement will have its little QR code and my little picture next to it saying Dr. Corey's picks. You can scan the QR code, and then I've given a whole in-depth write-up about why the supplement is needed, right? So it goes beyond basic knowledge of each supplement to really hone in on the specific. So that's what Dr. Corey's picks are about. And it allows people to have free 15-minute consult with me to help tailor their program to them.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. You mentioned that it goes into more detail, the little, once they scan the QR code. How much detail are we talking about here?
Not overwhelming. I don't want to overwhelm people, right? They're like, oh my gosh, this is too much information. No, it's a good solid paragraph or two just on more depth that they might not realize about some of the supplements, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that they can read quick, right, on their phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big fan of education.
Yeah.
So
now the 15-minute consult could be more like, let's go into that deeper even.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm a big fan of education, and so even if it was more than a couple sentences, I would probably be okay with it. But I don't know if everybody else would,
right? They'd be like, whoa.
Now, as you know, I'm always looking for ways to share information that will help people live the empowered life, a healthy life. Can you name the better health remedies you pick for winter and tell me why you chose them?
Yeah. So one of the first ones I looked at was, and again, let's just take a step back. What are we dealing with at winter right now? We're dealing with immune system meltdown, right? Because of lack of, vitamin D, whatever, being around more people. It's just cold, right? So I wanted to look at how can we boost the immune system. People are really into weight. I mean, I don't want to do the stereotypical like, oh, it's January, weight loss, but I had to factor that in somehow, right? So looking at how can we optimize our best weight, our best body, looking at things like the microbiome, right? Our gut, because that is the seat of our immune system too. And then looking at things that we can make the DNA sound, right? How can we heal the DNA? Because when we have a properly functioning DNA strand, we are not impervious. Like we don't get those disease states, right? So I want to look at proper DNA function, microbiome, and immune support. So one of the first picks was zeolite. Okay. Have you heard of zeolite?
No, I don't think so.
Zeolite is, have you heard of bentonite clay?
No.
It's a binder. So zeolite is formed by volcanic ash and seawater over a long time. It's a negatively charged particle, and it goes into our body when we take it. I like the liquid form. It goes into our body, and all toxins, all microbes, all heavy metals, pesticides, anything, they're positively charged. And so it works like a magnet. It actually attracts these toxins to it. And then through our ways of elimination, through our bowels, through our kidneys, through our sweat, which we talked about with the baths and the infrared sauna, it excretes through the body.
Wow.
So zeolite is so powerful. It even works with radiation.
Okay.
And we're around a lot of radiation with cell phones and Wi-Fi, so that will pull that out of the body as well. So that's my first choice.
I
right?
love that one.
Yeah, zeolite, it's phenomenal. I take it, a couple times a week at least.
Okay.
The second choice I picked was a herb called graviola.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of graviola?
No.
It's trending right now on Instagram and social media, but not as graviola. It's trending as another name it's known as soursop.
Okay.
Have you heard that trending at all?
No.
Okay, so soursop and graviola are the same exact thing. Okay. They just have different names. And my husband's family is from Latin America, and they know it as guanabana. Okay. It's a fruit. Okay. So graviola, guanabana, soursop, it's all the same. They can use it as a fruit down there for ice cream, etc. But we're looking at the medicinal part of the plant, which is the leaves. And it's very high in vitamin C, very high in antioxidants. So you can imagine it's just really good as a free radical scavenger. Wow. But it in studies has shown that it shuts down, and you'll know this word, you'll know this, the ATP, the adenosine triphosphate, which is the energy source of the cancer cells.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. So there's so many studies with that, and people posting on Instagram and social media about how much it's helped their cancer states.
Gotcha. So that's why it's trending.
Yes, that's why it's trending. It's soursop. I don't see it as graviola, but it's the same. Better Health Store carries graviola. So I just want people to know that soursop and graviola are exactly the same thing. So it's amazing for cancer states. It's also amazing for any infections in the body or any sort of oxidative stress in the body. And it has really good effect on any degenerative eye states as well, people that are suffering from eye issues.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that was my second pick.
Okay.
And then my third pick is selenium.
Okay.
You know selenium.
Yeah,
selenium. A lot of people know selenium. But I wanted to go deeper in my Dr. Corey's pick, right? The write-up, not too long, about why I picked selenium. So selenium is needed. It's one of the trace minerals. It's needed to keep the DNA code. So if we don't have selenium, our DNA can unravel. It can fray and things can start going haywire in the body. So selenium is very vital to that. Selenium is also a tumor suppressing micronutrient, right?
Okay.
So there's lots of studies with colorectal cancer, lung cancer, prostate cancer with great improvement taking selenium. And then another thing that probably quite a few people know, there's quite an epidemic of hypothyroidism, underactive thyroid, and selenium is needed. It's needed for proper conversion of thyroid hormones. So a lot of people that are struggling with their thyroid, if they just add in about 200 micrograms of selenium daily, they will see dramatic improvements.
Okay.
So thyroid, weight loss, you can kind of see where this is going with my pick for that. Yeah, so that's the third choice. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, give me another one. Give me another one.
I'll give you one other one. I picked black seed oil.
Okay.
Black seed oil is another one. Black seed oil is from the black cumin seed. So we're using the oil. So obviously it's full of essential fatty acids, which we know, fish oil, flax oil, good essential fatty acids are needed for our brain, our hair, our skin, nails. But the reason I chose this one is because of its immune stimulating properties.
Okay.
I really started using black seed oil about 3 years ago, 2 years ago, whenever COVID started, because black seed oil has these chemical constituents that are antiviral, antibacterial. They even work with neurological states. Like you probably heard of myasthenia gravis, which is a really debilitating neurological condition. It has very marked improvements even on states like that.
Wow.
On schizophrenia, on autism. It's super powerful. So I was telling people during COVID, take a teaspoon of that about 3 times a day. People were using things like ivermectin, et cetera. I gravitate more towards the natural, and I was seeing great improvement, really, really good improvement. And black seed too, a lot of superbugs mutate, right? They kind of mutate against some of the pharmaceuticals. Black seed oil really stands up to these superbugs that are mutating.
Okay, gotcha. Can you explain that a little bit more when you say mutate? What do you mean?
Yeah, so, people have a virus or a bacteria and they'll take, an antibiotic or an antiviral for it, and it starts to kind of recognize or get immunity, if you will, to that specific substance. And then it will kind of mutate into another bug where that is not even working against it anymore. But things like essential oils, things like black seed oil, really can come against that, even in its mutated form.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for explaining that in greater detail.
Yeah. It's people that have some chronic issues, that's definitely a fear for them, right? Like mutating sort of viral bacterial activity in the body.
Okay. Okay. I had printed out your picks and you explained them very well. So we'll definitely, now when people go to Better Health stores, are they able to get maybe a printout of all the picks for the winter?
I don't know if they can do that, but if they walk up to one of the QR codes and scan it, all of them will come up on their phone. So they can just look right through it. And they're in, as you walk down the aisles, my son and I were there the other day because we were just teaching. I was teaching. My son was my little helper.
Your little helper.
He was my helper for the day. Yep, setting up chairs. And we were like, oh, there's another one. So it's in plain sight. And once they scan one, all of them will come up. So they can read them all. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, because, I wish we had time to go through everything.
They're great.
They're really great.
Yeah.
One of the things that I want to talk about, and we have about 3 minutes, believe it or not, before the show ends. One of the things that I like to do is I like to give my guests the opportunity to say something to someone that may listen to the podcast that is maybe they are at a state like you were many years ago when I know that something's wrong. They've been experiencing signs and symptoms that something's not quite right. Emotionally, they're not right. Physically, they're not right. And they really need an encouraging word, something to motivate them to take action. And not just take action now because it's January, not take action just because it's winter, but take action now for the rest of their lives to really want to be better and stay well. What would you say to someone like that?
Yeah, I think for me, and I know someone will resonate with this, it was never lose peace. right? Never lose that peace. When we get in a state of fear, when our body is doing stuff that's, not of the norm, right? We get in fear and all the symptomology is exacerbated. I remember that. I would have a headache and then I'm like, oh my God, is it a brain tumor? And, it would feel like that. And it was just crazy. So keep the peace, breathe, and just know that you will find the answers. Like you will find the answers and speak that to yourself. I know I don't feel good today, but I truly believe I'm walking into good health, right? And seek out naturopaths, seek out I know there's lots of, social media groups, whatever that you can get on. Find the person that can be your cheerleader through it all, right? That's so important, right? And that's who I am now as a naturopath. I'm a cheerleader for all my people that come to see me.
Yeah, I definitely believe you are. And I believe people need that when they're trying to make significant change in their life, because it's not going to be easy. But it's so rewarding. And I had the wonderful opportunity to interview a very special person not too long ago. And one of the things that I said towards the end of that interview was that it's a lot harder to be sick. And I don't think that people think about that when they are going through their daily lives and they're making decisions and deciding to eat something unhealthy or maybe do something unhealthy. I don't think they think about being unwell until they start to really experience the signs and symptoms of being unwell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a not a fun state, but there truly is an answer for everything that we're facing. And it's not just one thing. People have to know it's not just changing your thinking. That is a huge part of it, but it's about the food you eat. It's about the nutrients you put in your body, the thoughts you think, the things you say, the people you're around. Sometimes you have to change some relationships. Right? They're not serving you. And that could be a huge root of somebody's issue.
Well, we'll end today saying this, and I think we talked about it before the show, is pay attention to the things that make you feel good and the things that make you feel not so good. Right? And the things that are painful to you, hurtful to you, that seem detrimental to your health, those are the things that you may want to eliminate or minimize in your life.
Agree. Well said, Angela.
Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to
absolutely
always share your purpose and your passion and your mission with us. I really appreciate it. I've always enjoyed our conversations, and I know that anyone that has the opportunity to have a consultation with you at Better Health, that has the opportunity to take advantage of your picks. Well, I know their health will greatly benefit. So thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. It was a pleasure talking with you today.
Yeah, thank you.
Same to you.
Thanks for listening to Empower It with Angela T. Moore. Feel free to share this episode with someone you think would enjoy it. New episodes come out weekly. Follow our show on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you're listening right now.